Hey everybody, and welcome to the weekly reroll, the show where we recap what happened last week on Twitch in terms of D&D shows. We're gonna take a look at 3 shows today: Roleplay Solemn, Dicing with Death, and then Honorbound. Misclicks is still on hiatus while Steph competes in some CS:GO tournaments, so we'll get back to that in November or December. So, without further ado, let's hop right into Solemn. If you don't want spoilers for Solemn, wait until the Solemn overlay disappears. Okay, roleplay Solemn. This is episode 31 of season 2. This is the week after the party almost wipes. And we start off with Jen slash Leia trying to escape. Leia kind of uses the death of the rest of the party as a tool to kind of advance their cause. So they all wipe. She takes the child. She abandons the what's her name, Helen, and takes off towards some Verasi settlements. She, shows up at one of the Verasi fortresses, goes in to speak to the commander, being like, "Hi, I'm Leia. I used to work for Lady Felicity before she died, and I've found the child. And I finally found a place where I could kill all the party members without them noticing, or without getting into too much trouble, and then take the child. And now, here I am. They're all dead. Let's get this over with." And the commander's like, "Oh, well, that's fantastic. Here, let's get you where you need to go." And she says, "Well, I want to go to the front lines. I need to speak to General Kelborn about this." And so they set up a wizard teleport for her, and she gets whoop, 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 teleported all the way to the front lines, where she then proceeds to, like, "Yeah, I gotta go speak to General Kelborn." And someone's like off to take her that way. She fucking runs. She heads for the front of the fort, grabs a horse, and takes off down the road. Then, casts invisibility on the baby and herself and abandons the horse and proceeds to walk for a while. She makes it all the way to the front lines because, she started basically there. She's just a couple days away from walking. um, Walks into the fortress that overlooks the bridge that goes into the Longhorn Kingdom, and kind of just, what do you call it, Blidger? She just kind of like yells at people a bunch until they uh, do what she says. And they, eventually she gets the gates open and starts to walk out the gates, and there's some guy back in the gates being like, What are you doing here? You're not supposed—" And then, there's a chase, and she's running across the bridge over to the Longborn Kingdom. And there's people chasing after her. Um, and she manages to escape. The Longborn people come over after, like, wondering what the fuck that this woman's doing running across the bridge between these two countries that have been in war for so long, especially when there's arrows flying after her and people chasing after her on horseback. Anyway, she gets to the other side, gives up the child to the General Longborn, or King Longborn, however you wish to call him, and then gets introduced to the rest of the party. Jeff's new character, whose name is Wojtek, is one of the guys who met her on the bridge, and is one of the, like, nephews of someone. I don't. You'd have to ask Jeff. Uh, and then eventually she gets introduced to JP's character, who is a dwarf, a dwarven fighter. Jeff is a human cleric, and Ryan is a human fighter, but like an archer specialist, not a ranger, an archer specialist fighter. So she gets introduced to all these people in the context of she still wants to help the war effort. No one really trusts her yet. Yes, they did bring her baby, but there's still some suspicion that it could be a trap of sorts. So these three are the three representatives of are three representatives of 3 different kingdoms. You've got the Longborn Kingdom with Jeff representing them. You've got the Dwarven Kingdom to the north with JP representing them, and then you've got the Horse Lord Kingdom farther to the west, to the east, with Ryan representing them. And Horse Lord is not exactly the way to put it, but it's close enough for our purposes today. They all kind of form together, and the General Longborn, the head general, who kind of has a working relationship with these people and whatnot, says to them, "Well, we're gonna have you do some special stuff here because you guys are a small group with very good, highly honed skills. We're gonna take you off and do specific things with you, not just throw you in the front lines, which kind of have been a stalemate for a long time anyway. Them sitting on the front lines would be a waste of their resources. They're going to be sent off to try and actually get something done. But the first thing that needs to be done is that there have been these portals that are opening in the forest, and all sorts of monsters have been coming out, including displacer beasts. And the new party, is going to be sent off to the forest to hunt down these beasts, find the portal, go through it, stop the portal from the other side, and hopefully make it back in time. Uh, and this is given to them as kind of a trial run. Like, if you can do this, we will trust you with more sensitive materials, but you're still this random elf that showed up from the other side, and we don't really trust you. So the party takes off to go find these displacer beasts, and they make it to the forest, well, what's left of the forest, and proceed to start hunting them down. They wander around for a while, eventually finding some using one of Jen's spells, the locate creature spell, which is actually good. And there's a battle. A bunch of displacer beasts die. Then there's another battle with other creatures, and more creatures keep showing up. And eventually they take down this big. What was it in the end? Oh, yeah. It was this weird bear, bat, ram combination. It was this weird mutated creature. Think of a, a grizzly bear with ram horns coming off of its head and then giant bat wings. And it breathes fire too. They're like, what the fuck is this shit? All right. So they deal with that guy, eventually managing to kill him. But now they're stuck in the forest with no idea where the portal is, really. Um, and that's where we left the roleplay solemn group. It's an interesting party. It feels nice. It's got a good mix of things, you know. JP is the frontline fighter. Jeff is like the secondary line fighter. Ryan sits in the back with the range, and Jen sits in the back with the range. So it's an interesting makeup, and there's a cleric now, finally, which is going to be fantastic for them. But that's pretty much it for Roleplay Solemn. We will be playing Solemn this Thursday, so take a look for that. Next on the list is Dicing with Death, and it's a good week for Dicing with Death. We started off with some basic house construction layouts, like this is the layout of the house. This is the upper floor, this is the basement floor, here's the secret passages, this is where this should go, this is where this should go, you know, just kind of the whole house layout. And then Qualnir and Michelle went off to go find some sirens. And the rest of the episode's pretty much that. We hop on a ship, Denna's ship, by the way, go to the Siren Island, hunt around for them for a while, find some sirens, fight some sirens, almost die to some sirens, kill some sirens, almost die to some other sirens, find their treasure trove, capture a siren, escape siren, tries to run, kill the escaping siren, poke around, watch some other sirens, not sure, hear some weird fucking noises. Like the sirens were terrified of something else. There's something out on that island that isn't the sirens and isn't us. And so we GTFO as fast as possible. Denna picks us up. We pay Denna with 2 magic items that we found that we're not going to use. And then we head back for home. I know it's kind of a brief recap, but it hits all the high points. And so much of this week was very intense combat that there's no point. Like, I can't do a blow by blow recap, but it was a fantastic week for Dicing with Death. If you want, like, edge of your seat, oh my god, will they, won't they? Watch Dicing with Death. I mean, now it's all spoiled for you, but you should have watched it rather than watching this recap first. Oh well. Alright, that's it for Dicing with Death. Let's talk Honorbound now. Honorbound, Redemption of the New Guard, Season 1, Episode 10. What did we do with Honorbound? Well, we are still okay. So we come into Honorbound kind of still in a fight. Our characters, there's this beholder kin sort of thing. It's called a spectator, which is a silly name. And then there's this weird snake-like beak thing. You know, it's like a snake with 4 tentacles that come out of its face and the beak in between. And we're fighting this creature and the beholder and the guy whose name I'm forgetting that we were chasing after, Justin's former master, something, not Zalbag, that's Final Fantasy Tactics, great game. Doesn't matter. So we're fighting them. We eventually manage to kill them, but it's a close fucking call. And after resting up and healing, we head back out towards the rest of the town. Well, actually, no, what's her name? Elaine or Elena or whatever her name is. The chick that keeps popping up in places unexpectedly shows up, takes us back to the rest of the town. There's 2 wounded elves who are my cousins, who have been chasing us apparently. I try and kill them. Then Elaine tries to stop me. Then I try and kill Elaine. I successfully take down one of my cousins and Elaine. Ryan helps with Elaine a little bit. And then the rest of the party kind of stops them and, what do you call it? stops me from killing them, you know. And we all agree that okay, maybe we shouldn't just kill these people. I mean, they're all unconscious and they were bleeding out, but we patched them up. And we decided to just get the hell out of here because you know, if my cousins are chasing us and we're not going to kill them, we need to escape before they will spot us or, you know, report us. So we head out, travel for a ways. We're headed north towards the Mountain Kingdom so we can figure out what the hell these moonstones are all about. And we come to this mysterious bridge crossing a river that's like right in our path, even though we're headed like randomly through the wilderness. So then we go around the bridge. There's a thing regarding the bridge. We avoid the bridge, make camp, and the night an owlbear attacks us. We barely scraped through the fight with killing the owlbear. Like that was a close battle. We almost TPK'd there because we were so wounded from the previous fights. Um, and that's that. Then we wake up the next morning, proceed northward, make it to the town that we're headed, and that's that. We end the session there. It's good. It was a good session. It's pretty enjoyable. We all leveled up. There were a lot of DM Hackspears running across the screen, but overall it was a good session. And that's our recap for Honorbound. And that has been our recap for the weekly reroll. The second two episodes were a little bit short on the recaps. The first one was a little lengthy, but I think we did a good job. If you want to watch Dicing with Death, that will be this Wednesday. If you want to watch Roleplay Solemn, that will be this Thursday. And of course, Honorbound will be on Sunday. My name is Koibu, and that is it for the weekly reroll this week. See you guys later.